Sorry for this video being in the sun, but I keep trying to come out here and grab a picture of these little phlox, just going for it. They bloom so early in the season, and you can see it's just hovered with that many more buds reaching for the sun right now. But every time I think to come out here and record this or see this, it is already in the sun and not in the shade. So sorry about that, but I didn't want you to miss out on it. Look at all these buds. Just little clumps of, that's why I like the phlox, because they're little clumps of just flowers everywhere that look like this. See, sorry, the sun, I can't get you that angle without a shadow being on it, but I think you get the gist. These are purple sprite phlox from Proven Winners, and they are just awesome. They're some of the first things that bloom in the spring, or we're still in the winter here in zone 8B, and I just love that. I planted it here right in front of the lion, lamb, and little angel statue in hopes that Cody would not trample through them. That's why we still have some little boxes behind some of the we actually have a little Augusta lavender here. I don't know if it's gonna make it. We're kind of experimenting, kind of all that's left, but hey, that is life trying to come out of that plant. So this would fill up like a 2x2 space, 3x3 space ish, and so ideally that would be able to bloom here. But in the meantime, certainly don't want we put little boxes, little bins there behind it in hopes that they have more of a chance to live instead of Cody trampling through them. So we just have to do that for now until they grow some size on them and get a little more established. But anyway, just wanted to share with you some of these beautiful blooms that are from these purple sprite phloxes. I finally had a better shot of this in the shade before the sun hits it, and this has come into bloom so much, and you can see it's just still that many more buds on it, and these little purple sprite phloxes are going for it. This one looks like a squirrel or something may have gotten to it. But the blooms are trying, and they're super sweet, so I thought I'd share. Able to capture it just as the sun is starting to gleam on these purple sprite phloxes, and I just wanted to share with you how many more blooms have come up, and there's still buds on this thing, guys. Can you see them? All the different buds on here that are still waiting to open. So anyway, I love this plant. It's so encouraging in the early season. Here we are in February. Oh, nope, it's March 1. Here we are on March 1, and it just brings some color into the space. This one is thriving a lot more than this one, unfortunately. I think some squirrels may have gotten to this one, not sure, but I'm gonna come back in here and maybe freshen up around the sides. In this area, it looks like a squirrel got in here and in here on this area. And so what I'll do is I'll come in with some more soil. Also ask Brian what he thinks he might recommend, because this one's struggling, but you can see it's still trying to put buds on. So also might be in shock. I did transplant it, so fair enough. The fact that it's still trying to bloom, even though like the center might not. Oh, wow, yeah, that's okay. I need to stop picking because I don't want to make it worse. But it's obviously still got some life in it. It's blooming and it's producing more. See if I can zoom in on the right thing. The buds right there that still are going to ideally open. There's a ton back here. So you know what, for the first season after Helene and needing to be transplanted, I think it's coming along. I'm pretty proud of it. But this one, oh wow, you can see more of the sun kind of hitting it. You can see why I wanted to try to capture it in the shade, because you can see it so pretty. But this is a really pretty shot too. Just love capturing little shots in the garden, and I don't know, it's just encouraging. Life blooms are just encouraging, not to sound cheesy, but I think I don't know, man. I think there's just something to it. There's something to just the simplicity and yet the almost miraculous nature of plants, of blooming. Something as simple as a flower can also, how should I say, the simplicity of a bloom yet complexity of a bloom. For this thing to survive a hurricane and just still perform and show out to us like that. A resiliency of plants. I don't know. It's just really encouraging and inspiring. I hope it inspires you. Y'all, I'm so excited. We got 2 evergreens in and a sourwood tree in. So this bed from here over did not exist. And after the storm, I said, well, you know, now's an opportunity. It's better than any to have extended this gravel or the stonework and bring the edging all the way out to here. And my goal was to have some evergreen rose, like some rosemary in this section, which we just put in today. So that's super exciting. That's why their dirt is a little bit, or not dirt. That's why the mulch is a little bit different over around the rosemaries. And anyway, it's just really, I'm excited to be able to get those in. And ideally, those will fill in like 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. So ideally, we put this in here to kind of mark the edge of this entrance right here, and also to maybe hopefully add some protection and to Cody proof it for like the lamp, like the solar lights that we have here. And ideally I could bring in either something blue or yellow tone right here to even protect this even further. But this one, basically the goal would be to fill in this area right here to kind of widen the hopefully do not trek over me space. And then over here on this side, this would hopefully be able to provide just some visual weight here to hopefully deter just like kind of rummaging through this. We'll see. That's the goal anyway. Other thing we did was we added in this sourwood tree today. It's dormant, so you can't really see too much, but bless their heart, you can see people still dealing with all the damages from the storm. But basically there were, see these large pine trees right here? There were about 7 of those from where I'm standing to those pine trees. So many of them were taken out or had fallen from the storm. But basically this did not exist before. The only thing here before was a chain link fence. You can we still have the pole that's back there. Mine assures me that there is something that we can utilize that for, so I'm sure I'll come up with something. And anyway, we're able to basically put it in the place of a chain link fence, put in a privacy fence that we all, you know, had been looking to do. And then we're able to kind of adjust this. Now I am looking for sourcing some a little bit better different types of shepherd hooks and things like that, because I think we just have too many squirrels, too many things that like weight it down, that try to utilize that bird feeder right there, and it makes the shepherd's hook kind of wonky. It makes it not level. And of course this area is first thing you see right when you walk out of the door. So you can see we have our lawnmower here. That was a blessing for us, and Brian was a blessing to us. And Brian was basically the deal was if Brian was able to fix it, he could keep it. And so he's almost done tinkering with it, as he says. And anyway, once it's fixed, it'll go under the lean-to area in a different space of the yard, so it won't be right here. But behind it is another arb. So we have 1, 2, 3 arbs, and we just put in a sourwood tree. And ideally, well, you can't, completely gets lost on this angle. Let me see if I can move over a little bit so you can see it maybe a little bit better in the sky. So the idea is for that to really fill this space in and just really create a nice privacy space. And it's also a sourwood tree, which of course is good for the bees, and that was the criteria. It needed to be good for the bees, and I think the blooms on it are really pretty. So hopefully it'll break out of dormancy soon, and I'll be able to share that with you, and hopefully it takes a while. Anyway, you can see the arbs in the back, and I'm hoping they'll make it. We've had these guys for a few years and they haven't really put on much growth. So I'm hoping with them here in this spot, maybe they've just waited for their moment. Maybe this year is their moment. We're gonna pray that in. So we will see if they will make it. They've been through a lot, haven't really grown a whole lot, and I'm hopeful though that they will be, imagine this fence black to tie in with our other fences, and then the beautiful green arbs in front. I do love the texture on these. That's why I got them. Still a little bit stressed, but they just were a really unique texture to me, and I really like them. So we will see I do not want to step on any plants because we have planted some things here that are deciduous and I don't want them to get rummaged through. So what we have been doing is, I don't know if you can see this guy here. This is a hydrangea. This is what it looks like, of course, during dormancy. And I have been putting, oh, the wind has gotten it. What we have been using, I'd love to utilize some cloches, some beautiful wire baskets, but for now, we are just repurposing some black pots that we have and fighting with the wind a little bit, but it is what it is. That is a Ruby Invincibelle Hydrangea, I believe. Invincibelle or Incredible. I'll have to update that in the description, but I get those a little confused. Still learning. Nevertheless, a proven winner's Ruby Hydrangea, and I'm so excited about it. I have one right here that we added in and one right over there. Sorry if I'm turning a little bit fast. The other thing that was super exciting was, again, this did not exist before, and so just mapped it out in my head, had all flags all mapped out of, you know, in my head. How I was able to come up with this was I had some pink and white flags, and so I did pink flags representative of deciduous plants or shrubs and white flags for evergreens. And so I had initially started with the back 3 arbs. Actually, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this was a white rose of Sharon. This was already here. It took a little bit of hit during the storm, but we can shape that up, and it's a beautiful evergreen interest up top. And these actually came from another part of the garden. And this guy right here is a Wygelia, and it was in another part of the garden, and it got hit pretty hard. It honestly was underneath the oak tree that fell, and we weren't sure if it was going to make it, and said, you know what, it wasn't really thriving in that area anyway. And so what we ended up doing was, I was planning on putting it right over here, and then just right over here. And then when Brian went to go to plant it, he said, Kelly, I think I can divide this. And I went, we can try. I don't know. I don't really know a lot about it, but it was, honestly, it was already cracking and falling apart, and we didn't know if it was even going to survive. And basically this piece was essentially falling off already, and it started off of this one. So this is a proven winner's plant, and I know they put a ton of time and decades, probably, I think, into their plants. But this one, in this case, I'm just sharing the experience that we had, because this one underwent literal hurricane damage, and the fact that we were able to retrieve any of it was just, we were so thankful for. And then when we were able to basically unearth it from the 50-foot oak tree that was on top of it, when we dug it out of the initial spot, it honestly came apart in 2 pieces. And so I said, well, let's try it. So that's a crazy circumstance, but that's the reality and of what our garden's gone through. And I wanted to share with you, one, I'm so proud of this plant, because I don't know how you go through a hurricane, have an oak tree land on top of you, and then basically are split in 2, because this was only one, we only had one. And this plant, I just wanted to show you guys. Do you see the new growth? I'm trying to get the right angle. And so, do you see the new growth on that? I'm so excited. The zoom isn't, there you go. That's a good shot. Look at all the new growth. I'm so pumped about it. And I wanted to share with you the experience that we had with it, just because this thing's gone through a lot. And the fact that there are just so many different new growth points on it, I'm so pumped. And I think it's honestly shining like this because or reviving itself back like this, because it is a proven winner's plant. And they are just, I don't know, from what I hear and from my own experience, they're kind of their own breed. I mean, they're just absolutely amazing. So I wanted to share with you the experience that we had. I know I don't think proven winners would necessarily want to promote propagation thing, but I think it's a special case surviving Hurricane Helene and a 50-foot oak tree that fell on it. But look at the sprouted one. Can you see it? Sorry guys, I know the zoom isn't the greatest on here. Oh, there we go. Look at that. I think what we thought that we lost an entire plant, you can see some of the damage on it that it incurred, but I think it's gonna make it. And not only do I think one's gonna make it, I think both are gonna make it. So I just wanted to share this with you because all this is new and we're still learning gardening, and especially me. Brian is what keeps this alive, honestly. And I'm really excited because we put a lot of work into the garden, and then to see it all, so many people lost so many things in Hurricane Helene, and we were thankful to have a roof still over our heads. So many people didn't. And so, you know, in perspective, it's kind of hard to be, you know, sad about plants, but it was sad. All of it's sad. There might be different degrees, but it's all sad. And so just to be able to see kind of life kind of coming back to some of them is just like super exciting. And I don't know, I just think I just wanted to share the testimony, honestly, of when we unearthed this one from the oak tree and Helene. Not only were we able to get one, but now we have two Sonic Bloom. I believe this is Sonic Bloom Pearl Hydrangea from Proven Winners, and have two of these now in the garden. I'm so excited, and I really hope they thrive. This back here is another Proven Winners plant. I don't know if you can see it. See this guy right here? We put this one in, and this is a Chautauqua. This should really fill in this area a lot. It should be pretty tall, hopefully, and honestly is going to be able to really fill in this whole area right here. And then the, let's see, that sourwood will really fill in this whole area right here, and then that Chautauqua will fill that whole area in here, and then the Hydrangea in front, and then we have the rosemary. I have an Augusta lavender here. I'm hopeful it's gonna make it. There is a little green sprig. Look, proof of life. There's a little green sprig, and again, hopeful that will make it, and that can fill in this area. That's purple and yellow. And then one of the last things that I actually have marked that I have left is this obviously pink flag right here. And we have another Proven Winners plant that is I don't want to butcher it, you guys, I'm trying, but it's a lantana, and it's a Royal Cosmo, but it's like the Luscious Royale one, and that's my favorite. I just love that. They have some others like berry and stuff like that. They're very similar, but that Luscious Royale Cosmo from Proven Winners, oh my gosh, it is my favorite. And so hopefully we can get this in here soon, and that'll honestly really reshape this bed completely, because again, this was just grass, or rather pine straw. There were two pine trees that were along the fence line. Actually, there was an oak, there was a pine, and then there was another pine all right here. And so that did not make it from the storm, or either was completely uprooted and unsafe, or was already dying and somehow didn't fall. And honestly, I'm really glad that those didn't fall, because they probably would have fallen through our house like so many other pine trees fell through so many people's homes. So I'm glad that that did not happen, but those did get taken out because they were just really unsafe, or already uprooted, and or already dying. So anyway, I just wanted to give an update of what this bed is looking like. It is March 1 right now, and a lot of things are still in dormancy. I'd really like to come in here. I'd really like to bring in some more evergreen right in here. Either, I'm thinking something like blue tones of green, I think would be really pretty, but it need to be low. It's actually also a really good opportunity for some annuals that would be really pretty and put on a show. But I also want to try to foolproof this as much as possible. If there's evergreens in front of here, Cody's less likely to rummage through it. And I can't convince Brian of that, but I'm convinced if there are evergreens in here, he might just go in a different direction. So I'd really like to test that theory. And then that way, not only would it protect our little solar lights, but it would also protect our deciduous plants. And only time will tell on that. So anyway, I hope you found this helpful in some capacity, or inspirational in some capacity. And I will leave it back to my purple Sprite phloxes. I just love those. You can probably tell. And just imagine that fence black, painted black, and done. That should happen in the next, hopefully, few weeks, and that'll be super exciting. A quick update over here. One of the things that I thought would look really pretty over here was actually some low growing Laura Pedlum, because I'd bring some purple. You see Cody over there in the corner, right past the lawnmower. That area will be nice to get tidied up. It's getting there, it's close. But anyway, see how there's just so much green. We got green up here. This will be deciduous, so this will be nice and fill in this area up top here. And then this guy, the Catalpa, will get pretty tall, but it does die back. It is deciduous. And so much in here is deciduous, and so I'm just trying to protect it, right? And so I fit a little bit more. And so to bring in some low growing Laura Pedlum right here, I think could be a really good opportunity to bring in some of that purple color. And then also hopefully encourage Cody not to kind of rummage through here and not look so barren in here, because I don't normally try to put this many deciduous things together, but this was, I think I just told you about this, about the Sonic Bloom Wygelia. Went from 1 to 2 after the storm, and then I had been wanting to try one of these Catalpas, so I was so thankful to be able to get my hands on that. And then I also really wanted this Ruby Hydrangea, and its pairing is right over here. There's another Ruby Hydrangea here. So anyway, I wanted to see, this one's going to get a little bit more shade. We're zone 8B, and I don't know, Georgia sun's pretty intense, so I was thinking it's still going to get a good amount of sun, but it, you know, might get more dappled sun back in here. So I have one over here in this area, and then this one is going to be, for now, it's going to be pretty exposed. As canopy gets larger, as this tree canopy gets larger, it will shade down here, but it's going to be a minute. And so, and this Wygelia, if it continues to take off, it's budding. And so if it takes off, then that can be, the sun ends like in this direction, coming in from this direction at night. And so I was thinking that could help shade maybe some of that. So we'll see. That one's an experiment. I think it'll be all right. That Georgia sun's pretty intense, so even if something says full sun, we gotta watch it. Good thing is we normally get a decent amount of rain, and it's just the humidity levels are so high here, and sometimes that's pretty intense for some plants, just can't handle it. I'm still just so excited about this Wygelia. Can you see the buds a little bit better? Let's see. It's just leafing out, or I guess it's more leafing out versus the buds. Sorry, be a little more exact. But anyway, I'm so excited about this. I feel like these have grown since the last time I showed. So cool. It's so cool. I'm just so excited and proud of this little guy. Wish I could zoom in. Sorry guys, the close shots are a little hard on this camera. That definitely is a good opportunity for something that is more evergreen, but to be fair, that rosemary will fill in, ideally, it says it could get 4 feet, so it'd be 2 feet circumference all the way around, so 4 feet total, and then, or 2 feet this way, and ideally 4 feet tall. So ideally this will really fill in this area up here, and I do have the statue here. So anyway, I just wanted to share the idea that I had about some more pedlum coming down, being planted in right in here to create that barrier a little bit. And then one of the ideas that I had was to also tie in a Laura Pedlum. See that white flag over there? Really tie in that purple, potentially either camellia or a Laura Pedlum. I'm open. There's another spot that I want to be able to put some camellias, and so I could tie that in and over here as well, or I could put Laura Pedlum here, fill in that circle, and then also have that purple, you know, kind of in here, so I'd tie that in. So just some ideas, just some initial thoughts, and don't mind all the grass. We're still working on, I'll try to film it, but we're still working on trying to level out our grass from the storm. I mean, y'all, it's honestly so embarrassing. It's not embarrassing, it just is what it is. We've never had to deal with this before, but you can see the tire track, all of from where the equipment had to get in to be able to remove the tree off of our house. And this is where you can see, so all of these stone right here on the right hand side about to here, about to here from, sorry. So about right here, all the way over, I had to hand move away so that way they could get the equipment in here. So we just have a ton of, what's it called? Rivets, I don't know. We just have a ton in here. So we're gonna bring in some fill dirt and fill this in. And so that's why we're just kind of letting it go, because it's just a lot. But it'll get there, and we are getting there. This little guy is so encouraging to me, you have no idea.